Welcome, it's the Pawsitivily Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC. Full house today, literally. The studio is packed. We have a couple regular voices here on KXIC. Of course, me. I'm Jay. You know me from the morning show. Ron Solsrud, who's here. Ron, how you doing?
Doing very, very good. It is packed in here. What's that heavy breathing I hear in the background?
It's not me. It's not our guest, Lisa. I know that either. Lisa, how you doing today?
Good morning.
Good. Lisa Lumbrakis is here. She's from Neutro. You've heard her come on and talk about all the great products they have. And she's brought her friend, who is Sidney. And Sidney is, how many pounds is Sidney?
Sidney is a 4-year-old, 140-pound Great Dane.
And his head just popped up when he said that. Sidney knows his name. He's a very, very nice dog. You know, he's got that typical personality from a Dane and that type of breed that he wants to get to know you a little bit. He was very protective of you when we walked in. You know, he's right near you. But then What's funny is he doesn't seem to know his own size sometimes. So, you know, he backs away. Like I've noticed he's kind of backed into you a few times. He wants you to protect him, right? And the gentle giant works perfect for this particular breed. To give our listeners, you know, it is radio, so the color is considered
a merle.
Merle.
Yes.
He's got a very beautiful face with white on the he has white in between his eyes that goes all the way to the middle of his head, and then he's got that mural. It's like a grayish and with black spots, right? Is that the best way to describe it? With some white markings throughout his body, these beautiful eyes, and he's still staring at me. And he's not hungry, is he? But he doesn't want to take a snap.
He hasn't made up his mind about you yet.
No, he's definitely getting used to it here, though, and he's already laid down, so that's good. And if you listen closely, listeners, I'm pretty sure you could hear him. Let's listen in.
Oh, he closes his mouth. Right. He goes, I am not going to do that. I am not a heavy breather.
So when you hear the heavy panting in the back, just know that's what that's all about. Now he's put his head back down. I think Sidney's going to be out for a while. But you could check it out. You know, if that description wasn't good enough for you, check out KXIC.com. I put a picture up there on our blog, and you could see him in our lobby getting ready for the show here. And we're talking to Lisa about the Great Dane. Ron is going to be the breed of the week, right?
That is it.
Good. So we'll learn about this particular breed. And then we'll also, of course, hear the latest from Neutro. There's some things I see you have some bullet points there, Lisa. So we'll talk about that. We'll get our amazing pet story of the weekend and much more. So thanks for coming along. If you ever want to share this show, or if you missed part of it and want to re-listen to certain parts of it, you can with the podcast page available starting on Thursdays. Usually we did a little something different this week, but Thursdays usually, and then throughout the week, if you missed the show, you just always go to the podcast page and just click it. Listen at your own leisure and learn about pets. That's what we do here, particularly dogs. For the most part, dogs and cats is where we put our focus in on. Yeah, I said cats, Sidney. They're okay too. Any cats at home with Sidney? No cats.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There was one, but we won't talk about it.
There used to be rabbits too.
There you say, not anymore.
No.
So anyway, let's roll along here then. So let's learn about the Great Dane. We'll get our amazing pet story of the week. First, from you, Lisa, from your perspective, how have things been going at Neutro lately?
Very, very exciting. Neutro acquired the Procter & Gamble Pet Division. So collectively, we're now known as Mars Pet Care. So we also have Eukanuba and Iams under our umbrella, along with some other brands. And so we're very excited to be the #1 leader in the pet food industry and pet specialty. And we have some new exciting things coming. But today I'm just going to focus on general nutrition.
So am I accurate to still say it's our friend Lisa with Neutro, or should I say that you're with these other companies too?
Technically, we are now Mars Pet Care.
That's your title, your company that you work for now?
Yes,
Mars
it is.
Pet Care.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll try to remember that if I can.
Okay.
But you still love Neutro though, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And still feed Neutro. And
yeah, you use the big dog breed?
Yes, absolutely.
No, I don't have any food, Sidney. I'm sorry. He got up and walked over here. I don't have any Neutro, although I'm sure you would love some of that, a big bowl of the Neutro. Ron, so you carry Neutro. I know you're very happy about that brand too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. What I like about Neutro is that really high quality. So, feed less, poop less. Good quality nutrition. It makes for a good, healthy pet, but it also has all the supplements that we know works for not only us, but it works for our dog. So I like all those aspects of it. I also like that Nutro has a line that, hey, if you're more price conscious, but you still want all that quality, they have a brand for that. If you're like, hey, I want to take one step up, I've seen some issues with my dog and I want to see if I can solve it through nutrition, they've got a brand for that. And then if you're one of those that, I just want a really good variety food that has multiple sources of protein and all that, they've got something for that as well. So got a really nice wide. I think it's very interesting. P&G used to have the Eukanuba and the Iams brand. That was a huge brand in the past. And a lot of the market share has drifted away because P&G just really wasn't a pet company. Mm-hmm. I'm very excited to see that it's in the Mars group because we think of Mars as a candy company. Mm. Their pet division dwarfs their candy division. Mm-hmm. And they've been in the pet industry much longer than we all realize. Mm-hmm. How many years?
Since 1932. That's when Mars made their first dog food in England.
Wow. Right.
Who knew?
And wait, what is the candy bar Snickers named after?
One of the Mars daughters' horses.
So a very pet.
How
about that?
Yes.
I didn't know that. And I love Snickers. Those are good.
You want Snickers too? He's looking at me and saying I like Snickers too. So that's my how I feel about Mars and what's going on. I think they do a really nice job.
So that's one of the first things we want to talk about is that there has been a change with your company, and it's exciting for you. And of course, you're always here to promote what you guys are, what you have to offer throughout those different brands. And I imagine we'll talk about some of that today, right? Some of those, is there a specific topic?
We'll dribble them in, but today's is mainly talking about general nutrition. You can apply this across the board. Okay. You can make your own decisions. Hey, I like this. I didn't like that. I'm going to look for a food that does, that kind of a thing. We'll flex in and talk about some of these Nutro brands and maybe Eukanuba and all that kind of stuff. But you can apply what we're going to talk about to everything.
Okay.
As far as dog and cat.
Nutrition, so important for the dogs. There's been certainly more talk about this recently with more science. And you talked about if it's ever more important than having a big dog than feeding less and pooping less, it would be with a Great Dane, right?
Oh,
that's a big deal. You don't want them.
Yes.
You don't want them eating that cheap food and then pooping all over the yard. All the byproducts, right? All the
I'm
waste
all about firm, smaller stool.
Yeah, you poop a lot. You do poop a lot.
We try to talk about poop every episode.
Yeah, I think we managed to.
We're like kids. We like to talk about poop.
Yeah,
right.
We do.
Something that Lisa put together was we'll do a general discussion of nutrition, but she thought through and what were the top 4 questions. We actually brainstormed them out yesterday. What are the top 4 questions that people have about nutrition? We'll ask those like, here, why feed premium food? Why does it cost more? What is the food? Where is the food made and by whom? That's a big topic right there. And then safe to make. Was that safer to make?
To make my own food. Is it safer to make?
Oh, that's right. Food? Yeah. Hey, I've heard about making my own food for the dog. I heard that's safer. Tell me more about that.
And well, this is great. You guys are prepared, Ron. Not that you're not prepared, but you're super prepared today. You get a lot of different stuff.
I'm going to give credit to Lisa.
I'll probably just step back and let you guys kind of steer the show.
Homework.
Well, so you need to get through your amazing pet story pretty quick here.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot of information. So let's do that right now. We'll share with you our amazing pet story of the week. And then what we'll do is take a break. And when we come back, we'll have more from Lisa. We'll have more from Ron. And maybe Sidney will chime in here too. He's slobbering all over some paperwork right now. He is so cute. Like, I love the big dog. We were talking off the air, and I've always been kind of a big dog guy. And I just love the fact that he's like such a big kind of I don't mean to sound bad about this, but dopey. He's got that cute look too. Yes. He's just laying. He's he's standing up, but he can put his head on this counter and he's just laying. He's staring at me right now like he wants to go to sleep.
They're very comical.
Very comical dogs, but super cute. Sidney's here in studio, and we're going to learn more about his breed too. Find out about that Great Dane. And so we'll get the amazing pet story right now. Let's bring in Big Voice Guy. I got to get a story. I didn't have one today.
And we can tie...
maybe I can find a Great Dane. How about that?
Big Voice Guy in with the Great Dane.
What about the Great Dane that ate all those socks?
Oh.
Did you see that?
Is he okay?
Yeah, they removed, 40-some socks?
Oh, geez.
Actually, Nutro sent the owner, I think, a year supply of greenies. But it hit national news, and they
Nice.
showed the socks they pulled out of this Great Dane's stomach, and he lived.
That happened to my sister's dog, actually.
Really?
She almost died too.
Ooh.
It was, or he almost died. It was sad, but it was underwear. He got in her underwear drawer. Ate like 8 of her panties.
Come on, what
And
is-
then the funny thing was the doctor got them all out and had them in a bag and asked if she wanted them.
Oh,
I was like,
gross.
no thanks.
No, I'm gonna
That's
go back and look.
nasty.
Let's see it. Suspect alleged sex attack arrested after Great Dane.
No.
chase.
No,
After
that's
Great Dane.
Yeah, the dog saves him. How about an attack? I won't say sex. I'll say an attack.
Right.
All right. Yeah. All right. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. So what's big voice guy? Oh, here we go. Watch this. In 3, 2, 1. Big voice guy, come on. What? He won't come in here. I think. Come on.
wow. I've never seen that out of him.
He's scared of the dog. He's scared of
Get in
He's
here.
scared of Sidney. All right, Ron, take this mic on the cord and walk it out to the hallway. We'll get big voice guy. You got to go out there and do
Golly.
it. Go give it to him. All
Come
right.
here, say it. Golly, I can't believe you're doing this today.
It's time for the amazing pet story of the week.
Come on, man. Didn't you hear that he's a gentle giant? He's not going to hurt you. All right. Anyway, big voice guy always up to something. And today we go to Logan Square. Do you know where that is?
What state?
It says Chicagoland. Have you heard of
No,
Logan
I don't.
Square?
No. Is
Let's say
that maybe-
Chicagoland. Let's say Chicagoland. Austin Zamora Jr. saw a girl that was being attacked by a man outside the Logan Square home, and Scooby, a 160-pound giant Great Dane, whose size is certainly enough to give pause to animals of all different sizes, chased the suspect down Whipple Avenue. And so what happened was Scooby growled and barked menacingly. The man took off running. 28-year-old Larry Smith of South Wells Street was arrested by police after the chase, and we can all thank Scooby, the giant Great Dane,
Scooby.
for helping out. So there you go, Scooby. You can get your Scooby snack now, right?
Yeah.
And he is a Great Dane too, by the way, in the cartoon. Did you know that?
I actually
Yes, he
yeah,
is.
he's a
I
great
never
Scooby-Doo.
thought through it, but yeah, now I
Marmaduke.
see it.
Zoink, Scoob! Like, wow! Rogaruggy.
All right, you watched way too much of that.
My boy's 6 years old. He loves the show. What can you do?
That's great.
So there you go. Scooby is the champion here, and he saved a little girl. So that's great news there. Always great when there's a good ending. The criminal was caught. The Great Dane was the champion there and was able to save that girl. We're going to take a break and be back with more after this. This is the Pawsitivily Petland Show. I'm Jake Capron. We have Lisa and Ron and Sidney, and we'll be right back with more after this. See you in a bit? No, we won't see you in a bit. You'll hear us in a bit. Back with more after this. 3, 2, 1.
Sidney's thinking this place was a little bigger.
Yeah, he wishes we had a bigger studio. You know what's funny? It was he literally was turning his head away every time I tried to take a photo when he was on Lisa's lap.
My
over there.
dogs do that too.
It's like I put the camera up and he turned away. I put the camera up, he turned away, and so I had to sneak one in. But I did get a good photo. If you want to see Sidney, you can check out kxic.com. This giant Great Dane, certainly a gentle giant, beautiful dog, and he's been very good here. He's was a little weary at the beginning because it's a new place. He was happy to see that none of us have shots, or
thermometers.
In our hands.
Yeah, because anytime a dog goes into a new place, they're probably thinking it's some sort of vet's office or some sort of place like that. So he's happy to see that. All we've done is given him some water and some pets, and he's good to go. So Sidney's here, and we're going to learn right now about the Great Dane. So let's learn about the Great Dane, and then you two have a lot to talk about with nutrition. So tell us about the Great Dane, Ron.
Lisa, why don't you start it off with just saying, what is it like to have a Great Dane?
Well, first of all, I had wanted a Great Dane since I was a young girl, and their lifespan at that time, which was 5 to 7, prevented me from really making that commitment. But now that their lifespan is longer, 8 to 10 years as an average, and I rescued this guy, I couldn't say no. Someone had to give him up at 10 months of age.
I think you've told that story. Your husband.
Oh yeah, I did it without asking.
He didn't
for
know
those
about
out there.
Yeah.
But now he loves Sidney too. But I love this breed. I would love to have more Great Danes. They are funny, affectionate. They're great guard dogs. He loves his toys. They're like a big baby, but yet again, when you need them to protect you, they're definitely there, and their size alone intimidates people.
Oh yeah, I've talked about my Wyme a lot on this show, and he was about half his size, and the pizza guy and other people were just so scared of him with the bark and his size. So double that for I mean, I haven't heard him bark it, but I'm imagining it's that real deep.
It is.
It's got to be
Right.
like whoa. I'm gonna go to the next house, or maybe even get out of the neighborhood right now because of him. But it sounds like a good family dog, though.
He is very much so. Loves people once he gets to know you, and many people might be turned off by the size when it comes to what they think they have to feed them. So Sidney gets 6 cups a day, which isn't astronomical. It's not that much more than most large.
Right. I think that is astronomical.
All right. Maybe compared to your
less than a half a cup. You're saying 6.
Well,
I bet it's even more. If it's the cheaper food, it's probably even more, though, right?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So because he's fed a premium food that's more digestible, I can get away with feeding him less. And as we mentioned earlier, smaller, firmer stools are a big plus in our household.
Does he eat fast?
A little bit, and I did find that breaking his meals into 3 times a day instead of 2 times a day, he does better.
We might get a bark.
Somebody
walked in the studio.
There. Yeah,
It's all right. We're okay, buddy.
see, this is his home now. He's ready to protect.
He looks
all
pretty
of us.
comfortable.
Well, when you said guard, is that what you're talking about? Is barking, or do you see Sidney go any step further? Is there any aggression or anything that you see? Or?
Yes, he will charge someone, including my husband, until he finds out that it's daddy. But again, it depends on the Dane. I got him at 10 months of age, so I've met Great Danes that are extremely friendly. Anyone can walk up to them and love on them and pet on them because they were socialized. So like with any breed of dog, the more you can get them out and get them to know people at a young age, the better they're going to be at handling strangers.
Yeah. Well, that, even when you came in the studio, you were clear about making sure that people don't just come walk right up to them, which is, it's important to know that too. And it's good advice for anyone out there in the public that, most people at the dog park, everything else are okay with you petting their dog, but you should ask them a lot. I think, some people take it out. They just think, oh, I'll walk up to this dog. And even if it isn't a Great Dane, sometimes a lot of times owners, oh, it's fine, but I think it's important, especially with a dog of this size, that you make sure that he's comfortable and has warmed up a bit because he does have that mentality of being a guardian.
Yes. And I think it's just common courtesy. And I think it's also important when you're walking your dog, especially if you have those extendable leashes, that you don't allow your dog to just charge up to a stranger
To other
dog that
people.
doesn't know.
Yeah. Doggy rules. We could do a show on that.
Doggy etiquette.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
Anything about the origin?
I was going to say
Yeah.
a little bit about the origin of it. This guy goes back 3000 BC.
Whoa.
Egyptians have monuments and paintings that they think were early ancestors of the Great Dane. And so it was going down that path. It probably didn't look exactly like they look today. And then the Chinese have 1121 BC literature about great dogs that would resemble Great Danes of today. And so they did say that. Interesting. Why I was asking about, how does this guy go? But we read about this with all the dog breeds. They all seem to have hunting or fighting or guarding in their past. Even the Lhasa Apso, which I think is hilarious.
I know, right? Some of the smaller dogs we've talked about were used as guard dogs.
And so this guy was used to hunt boar, the wild boar, which is, that's a
those are mean,
nasty little big thing. And these guys must have been pretty good at it. And so that was an interesting past for it. But we can see that we've definitely domesticated. We talked about socializing, which we talk a lot about every show, is the more you socialize the pets, especially at those younger ages, the more dramatic effect you're going to get for a well-socialized pet for your house.
And certain breeds, I think we've talked about, it's more and more important. And I think this one goes in that category of breeds that's very important to socialize early, right?
Right. And I do think, though, it's a downhill battle rather than an uphill battle. There are some breeds out there, like, the pit bulls that we hear about and all that, where you got to really work at the socialization on those breeds. It sounds to me like this one kind of falls down that path if you do it.
Right. And again, it became very easy when I was having Sidney travel a little bit with me. By maybe the 5th time of being in a store and strangers coming up to him, he was really calming down. So even as an adult, he was quickly adapting to that attention. So if someone stuck with that, you're going to get that wonderful dog that, well, he is wonderful, that you don't have to be as cautious about when it comes to strangers.
That's a good boy. So that's the Great Dane. Good information as always. And to feed this Great Dane 6 cups or whatever whatever you're feeding.
We always talk about shedding.
Yeah.
It is a shedding dog.
It is a shedding dog.
So the Furminator, gosh, you get the big Furminator on this guy.
Yes.
Don't get the little one. Don't save money on the
everything is jumbo, right?
Yeah.
the bones, the
jumbo bed, jumbo
bed. Yeah.
He has a jacket, a coat he wore today, jumbo coat.
Oh, I didn't see his coat. Is that what that is over there?
That's his coat. It's cold out there.
It is cold.
And they have short hair, so.
Are you Shirley? Do you want to move to Mexico?
No, Arizona.
I bet he falls asleep or at least puts his head down to lay down after about 5 more minutes. He looks pretty comfortable. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I do.
He's laying down now.
He's chill.
So about the food, tell us about it, guys.
So what we came up with were those 4 questions that we talked about. And today we wanted to, this is going to be a multi-show conversation. So we're going to talk about it today. Next Sunday, we're going to talk about some more and all that. So stay tuned with us and stay with us. Again, like Jay said at the beginning of the broadcast, if you miss an episode, go on to KXIC AM 800's website. There's podcasts. You can always review them, anything from the past. And then as we do these in the future, we'll obviously post those as well. You can also get links to all these podcasts through the Petland website. So if you forget something, petlandiowacity.com. It's on my homepage so that you'll see it along the left-hand side. All of our shows, this will be popping up on there really quick.
Real quick note too, you can subscribe to these so they just keep coming to your phone.
Yeah, if you're podcast unsavvy, figure that out. You're going to want to learn what an RSS feed is, which is not as complicated as it sounds.
It's that little 3-lined orange thing.
Yeah,
you click that and then it'll sign you up, and then when the new one comes, it goes right to your phone, so you don't have to go find it.
Play with it, you'll figure it out.
Subscribe.
All right, so the first question that we had is why feed a premium food? And I talk a lot about it during other shows. So I brought Lisa on so we get a little change of voice and a little change of thoughts. So Lisa, why would you feed a premium brand as opposed to a grocery or a mart type brand that, they have all those brands, they're really cheap. Why would I switch to a premium?
Well, that's a really good question, and one that we find is very common, as we mentioned earlier. So there are some basic reasons that show or support why you should feed a premium dog food. And one would be certainly they tend to be more palatable because real meat is often used in these premium dog foods. Also, you're dealing with quality ingredients. And what does that mean? That means improved digestion. So the better quality the ingredient, the more digestible it's going to be. So that means your dog is going to end up eating less. And then when
what's an example of a less digestible and a more digestible? So like you said, the meat category. So hey, dogs eat meat, kind of thing. But you're saying there's some things that are more digestible in that than others.
Yes, absolutely. So for example, even with people, sometimes we have a hard time digesting beef, and it's much easier for us to digest chicken or fish. So there is a scale of digestibility. And when it comes to meat, chicken is probably the most digestible meat. So a great form of digestible protein. Or if you want to look at a carbohydrate source or grain source, you have corn, which is fine and dandy, but it's less digestible than rice. So rice is very digestible, gentle on the system. It's a human baby's first cereal. So that's where you get an idea of digestibility.
Yeah, so we're doing it in our houses, and we might not quite make the connection. Why aren't I feeding my baby corn?
Absolutely.
But we're doing rice because they get more nutrition out of it. On the real meat aspect of it, what's more digestible, the red meat or the hoof, kind of a thing as well. Like there's other parts that we're talking there.
Absolutely.
And other less premium brands that are out there all those extra parts in there. Well, yeah, you can here, for instance, hair is I know it's gross, but it's a protein.
Sure.
But it's not digestible. So you can claim it as a protein on a bag of food, but you're never going to get that source because your body and the dog's body or the cat's body can't break that protein source down.
Absolutely.
So that would be an example on the meat side of things.
That is correct. Another reason why you may want to feed a premium dog food would be small, firmer stool. So you're going to have less cleanup in the backyard. And as we mentioned earlier, when you have a giant breed like a Great Dane, the smaller and the firmer the stool is, the much better.
Who's on poop patrol at your house?
Me.
Is it you?
Well, usually me. It's supposed to be me.
Yeah, I think somebody's calling in right now going, no way, I'm always cleaning up.
Is it a snow shovel? A snow shovel and a bucket? Is that the...
It's a manure fork.
You do have a poop... Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a plastic manure fork. But it's so I can pick up a bunch of piles at a time.
Yeah.
But I had someone mention the other day that when they went from a non-premium food to a premium food, their piles they had to pick up when they walked their dog went from 2-fisted to 1-fisted.
Well, it's also
it's the reality of one of the worst parts about having a dog is picking the poop up.
When Wendy and I bought the store 9 years ago and we made that switch, we were letting Callie out many times and she just kept on pooping.
Okay.
Hers was just a lot of poop everywhere all throughout the day. Now it's
probably twice a day.
Maybe. So it's all compacted into 2 episodes and there's less of it as well for the entire day's worth.
Right. Another thing would be you tend to get improved skin and coat because these premium foods have higher levels of omega-3 and 6 fatty acids. So you tend to get less shedding, a healthier, shiny coat. Also,
what's happening there? Why do I get a healthier skin and shinier coat? Why? Is it the oils, or is it actually the oils coming out of the skin, or?
Well, that's a good question. Is, for example, with the Nutro Natural Choice, which is the one brand on the market today that can guarantee improved skin and coat or your money back. There is sunflower oil in there to help with that skin and coat, but there's also a patented combination of linoleic acid and zinc, and those two together at the right level create a moisture barrier for the skin. So it actually hydrates the skin and helps with that shine in the coat. So not only are you getting oils from like the sunflower to help reduce shedding and make a healthier coat, you're also getting that linoleic and zinc to produce the shine and to help with dry skin because it's moisturizing that skin.
So this will even help with if your dog has dandruff.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Another would be tailored nutrition. So when you purchase a premium dog food, you have more choices for tailored nutrition. And what does that mean? That means a puppy formula, an adult formula, a senior formula, maybe a formula if a dog has sensitivities or allergies, if a dog has issues with skin and coat, if a dog is overweight, light formula. So again, you tend to get that more tailored nutrition for your particular dog and your particular situation.
Down to the shape of the kibble. I get a kick out of that. I'm like, holy cow, how detailed can we get?
So as we all know, dogs have 42 teeth in their heads. So whether it is Sidney the Great Dane.
We don't all know that, but
Or-
now I do. Though. Thank you, though.
Or one
The rest of your audience does. Yeah.
There are 42 teeth. So small breed dogs tend to have problems with their teeth because those 42 teeth are packed tightly into that tiny little mouth. So for example, the Natural Choice toy and small breed has a special shaped kibble to help clean the teeth as that smaller toy breed dog is eating its food.
Who
So
knew?
Again,
Who knew? I did
tailored
not know
nutrition.
that they changed the. I mean, I always just thought kibble's kibble. The shape doesn't matter, right? But
nope.
there's a little bit of science.
They
to
got
that.
science. Yeah, they've
Yes,
applied science.
absolutely. And then lastly, a premium food can contribute to a longer, healthier life for your pet and also fewer vet bills. And who doesn't want fewer vet bills?
Well, you were saying yesterday that they're actually, that's I've heard that for a while. A lot of claims out there, but
Yes.
Mars is putting science behind that, and they're actually doing the studies to say, hey, enough with the anecdotal. They're actually coming up with evidence and studies saying that it definitely has that ability.
That is true. So down the road, I don't have it in hand yet, but Eukanuva just finished a 10-year study with Labrador retrievers regarding longevity and mobility. So there's a couple particular dogs, Bunny, Dakota. There's a third dog. They lived to 17 and 18 years of age. But it wasn't just living longer. Their quality of life was better. I watched a video with Dakota chasing a tennis ball, and granted, she was moving a little slowly, but still able to be mobile and have a quality of life at that very senior age.
Mm-hmm.
So that is really exciting, and the information will be out there for everyone to see once we get it printed and on TV, etc.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Very good. This is the Pawsitivily Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC. We'll take a break and be back with segment 3 here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Sidney, are you awake? No. He's chilling. It's all good. It's all good. Sidney's welcome to be here. A big Great Dane, beautiful dog. If you didn't hear the beginning of the show, that's Lisa's dog. Lisa has a Great Dane. His name is Sidney. He's got that mural color. Am I saying that right?
Merle.
Merle, sorry. Merle.
Merle Haggard. Think of Merle
Oh,
Haggard.
Merle. Is that how it's spelled too?
M-E-R-L-E.
That will help me in my head. I kept thinking mural. Like
No.
the Pollock's mural.
No.
Anyway, Merle.
Right.
I'm digressing. I back on track. And Merle, but you know what? You can see a picture, kxic.com, and just see how beautiful this dog really is. He's got the white markings and the black and gray spots, and he's just chilling out at the studio. You could hear him breathing now here at the microphone. I was hoping he would do that at some point. No bark yet, though.
No,
But we'll get that for
Someone
sure.
jump at the window.
I know. Well, we've got these
And help
comedians next to us here from the
Oh.
Fox. They're doing their show, and that's when he started growling a little bit because I got close to the
those
window.
comedians.
Those-
You never can trust those.
Darn FM radio guys. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more, though. This is the Pawsitively Petland Show, and we're going to talk more about nutrition. It's important. Learn more about it. And, Ron, you know what? As we go to break, tell us about your store.
We're Petland of Iowa City. We're across from the Sycamore Mall, which is now known as Marketplace. We're really excited about that new grocery store coming in there. I think it's just a month or two away.
Soon.
So our hours of operation today are noon until 6. And then Monday through Saturday, we're open from 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. So we got a lot of hours to be open. Come on by and play. We're all about playing with the pets, learning about the pets. If you're considering a pet, you get to now discover, is this the right pet for you, or maybe a different pet. If you have 0 pets, consider getting a betta fish for your child or for your man-child, and start that way as far as, is this the right thing for us to do in our family, and go slowly. That's a great way of doing it. So we have a wide variety of small animals, from rabbits to guinea pigs to all the way down to hamsters and robo hamsters. If you don't know what that is, come on in and check those out. They're little fun things. But all the way up to the puppies, the kittens, reptiles, fish, all sorts of different things that you can have fun with in our store. People come into our store, $5 nail trims, no appointments necessary. That's probably our second most popular question. Do I have to make an appointment? Nope, just come on in and we'll take care of that with you on the $5 nail trims. And then all of our dog food is on a buy 10, get one free. We track it for you, so you don't have to be cutting or checking or whatever you're gluing or whatever. You just come on in. We'll even help you show you how we track it over time, and there is no limit on that time. So
Great
it's a really
deal.
good deal.
It's a great place. That's Ron Salsrud. He owns Petland of Iowa City with his wife Wendy and family, and they'd love to see you out there. They open at noon today. Back with more after this. All right, last segment here. I just thought I'd split it up just to get a little bit, and then I thought I'd give you a chance in between here to talk. Is there anything specifically?
Yeah, see, we only got through one.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to.
We'll get through two,
let's
maybe
go,
three.
Just to give you,
unless you think it's gonna go faster. It doesn't matter. We can. I'd rather.
It could go faster if we don't elaborate.
I think it's okay to. I think it's fine to elaborate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no point of, we
giving them information they already know.
We could even record. I was wondering about part of next show.
We were thinking next week. I got Sally Stutzman and people coming in this afternoon, and I just want to prepare for that.
Yeah.
So next week, I think you're even looking at Friday again next week.
Yes.
And then doing 2 shows next week.
Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. I should be. Yeah. Yep. That's fine with me. So
let's plan on that. So we'll get as far as we can.
Yeah, we'll get as far as we can. We'll tell everyone that you guys will be back.
Well, maybe we can cover the first 2, and then next week we do the last 2. It's a great way to break it up.
Yeah, that works for me. And then, if you wanted to do Ron, just keep that in mind. Anytime, we're a little bit more flexible now that Thursdays are better in the general sense, but I can do next Friday if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just tied up next Thursday.
Getting
otherwise.
3 schedules together.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's plan
Thank
for
you.
next Thursday then, right? Or next Friday.
Yes.
11 o'clock again.
Yeah, that works. That worked out pretty well.
Okay. Let me know if you need to change it. Okay,
Thank
here we
you.
go. Yep, no problem. I like this show. It's fun. I learn something all the time, too. Eventually, I'll have a dog, too, I'm sure. So. All right, in 3, 2, 1.
So Devin is coming into the store to pick up a puppy.
No, that's not happening, Ron. Thank you very much.
Well, Jack says he's already picked it out.
Don't get him involved. If he was involved, we'd have one every time we stop at your store. That Boston Terrier got to me last time, man. I'm telling you.
I love that one.
Is he gone already?
No, not yet. This weekend is for sure. We've nicknamed that one Daisy. Isn't
It's a girl then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Daisy just fits that one.
It does.
Pretty.
Beautiful. Lots of different breeds there at the Petland of Iowa City store located on Lower Muscatine. This is the Pawsitivily Petland show. If you're just getting in your car, maybe you're getting up and going here. It's a Sunday. Of course, we're recording this show. You can catch the podcast anytime you want. You don't have to listen, but the normal time slot is Sundays in this 9 o'clock hour. Petland opens up at noon. When we record the show, we have our buddy here. He's Sidney. He's a 140-pound Great Dane. Really cute dog.
Yeah, I just realized I've been leaning away this whole time because this Sidney is so big. I went,
whoa.
Oh, yeah, what am I doing over there? Sydney's intimidating.
For a dog size. For that big of a dog, he really hasn't caused a lot of problems at all. No. He's in love with his mommy, though. He's trying to find ways to push her arm out of the way to try and snuggle up. Yes. And he's just that very typical gentle giant. And so if you just tuned in, we talked about the Great Dane. That was the breed of the week. Actually, the Amazing Pet Story featured a Great Dane that saved a girl from being attacked in Chicagoland, which was great to see Scooby coming to the rescue. And then we started talking about nutrition, and we realized here this is going to take some time to kind of lay out what you guys wanted to discuss. So we're going to follow up and finish up today we have about 10 more minutes left of this program. And then we're going to continue this into next week and talk more about this in general. So what we know would be great right now is if you could maybe map it out a little bit for our listeners so they have an idea of what they'll be hearing. So talk about what you've talked about to this point and then kind of map it out if you could.
All right. So we came up with, what are the 4 most popular questions that we hear about dog and cat nutrition? And so we're hitting those. We hit the first 2, why feed a premium food? We're now going to go into why does it cost more or does it really cost more? And then next show, we're going to go over, where is this food coming from? I'm hearing all sorts of news reports. Tell me more about, why should I be concerned about that? And I think you should. So we're not going to go against that one. And then, is it safer to make my own food? What if I feed my dog, the food scrap type, stuff? I hear mixed emotions on that one. And, is that good? Is it bad? How should I be cautious? What's the best thing to do kind of thing on there? Then on the additional shows going forward, we're going to hit that nutrition a little more in detail, just general nutrition guidelines and things like that for your dog and cat and what it means to you.
I think it's safe to say the industry's changed a whole bunch.
Oh yeah,
and even the choices. Like for our listeners that are older, they may remember when you fed your dog in the 60s or 70s, or maybe even more recent than that. You had the cheaper brand, the medium brand, maybe a wet food or something, but there wasn't a lot, right? And now it's
far enough back. There wasn't dry food. We were feeding all canned long time ago. Yeah, I remember that. And I remember the smell was disgusting
of the dog food.
Oh gosh, is it nasty?
Yeah.
It just occurred to me a couple weeks ago. I put the dog food up to my face and I go, I remember that smell. I'm like, hey, it doesn't even smell like that anymore. It just didn't even dawn on me that smell has gone away. And I don't know what I was smelling, but I remember the dogs in the past. Oh,
I bet they have teeth issues too, because that kibble's good for their teeth. I know, but so it's changed a lot. You walk through your store and you just see. I mean, there's even a frozen food section.
Yep.
The dog food store or the pet store has a dog food, a frozen section. It's like I'm looking for a dog pizza or something like that. But so raw food and popsicles.
Yeah. We'll actually talk about raw food.
You guys have all kinds of cool stuff. So I'll hand the baton back over to you guys and tell us now about the next topic here.
All right. So we wanted to cover now is why does it cost?
All right, hold on. Let me redo that because I didn't transition very well. It's my fault. But 3, 2, 1. So let's move on to the next topic then. So why does it cost more? Or when you buy all the food we're talking about, when you go walk down that aisle and you see it's that much for a bag of food, and then you're thinking, I could just go to the mart and get the other one. Well, explain that to me, to your average consumer.
Right, and we've hit that topic over and over again on here, but I still hear it in the store on a daily basis. People go, well, I'm not going to spend that much. And I'm going, hey, you aren't going to spend that much over time. You're going to spend the same amount. If you're buying the mart food right now or the grocery market food right now, you are spending the same amount as if you went to a premium food, because the premium food, you're going to feed less. We talked about digestibility. We're going to tie that into the price now as understanding you're going to feed less of this stuff, and you're going to feed about half as much than all the mart food. And so now we're going to go into, okay, so why does it cost more? And what does that mean to me? And then tie this all into a nice little bow at the end. So tell me, is it the ingredients that goes into the bag? Is that why it's so, the premium food is more expensive?
There's a few reasons why premium pet food is more expensive. And one of that would be ingredient selection. So premium pet foods tend to use whole ingredients, again, real meat, poultry, or fish. They're minimally processed ingredients. They're minimally synthetic ingredients.
Okay, can we hit a couple of those?
Sure.
So what do you mean by minimally processed? Because I hear that in the general, even for our own. I know how food is made, and when people say, "Oh, processed food," well, when in your kitchen you're processing food technically, and so is being processed a negative thing here? And you're saying minimally. What does that mean?
Well, to your point, all food is processed to some point, but there's different forms of processing of food. So is a food being processed to the point where it's being cooked and having all the nutrients cooked out of it? Is it being processed using chemicals? So that also degrades the quality of the nutrition of the food. I just had my triglycerides last year. It came up high for the first time in my life, and my doctor told me it's because I'm eating too many processed foods.
What is what is triglycerides? I don't even know what that means.
It has to do with in your blood, and it's bad for your arteries. Triglycerides are a number in your blood. If it's too high, you can have the potential for a stroke.
Okay.
So it's just
what
something
did the doctor say to eat less of?
Processed foods.
Like,
so I won't mention the brand, but I was eating for the first time in my life a ton of a particular wonderful tasting brand that comes to my house.
brand?
And it's all
Dog food?
no, human food. It's all processed. You know, where you take it out of the box, you throw it in the microwave, and you got a whole meal, and it's very tasty.
Okay, can we just say TV dinners and frozen
high
dinners?
quality TV dinner.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
So instead of me going to the store and buying the chicken and baking the chicken and getting some green beans from the local farmer's market and throwing in the pan. So that's the difference. And so when you're getting a lot of ingredients that are highly processed, you're not getting much nutritional value out of them.
Interesting. So that process, so you're minimally processing it. So what are you not cooking it as hot, or are you,
right?
What do you mean?
So you're using extrusion. You're using different methods that will make the food safe and the ingredients safe and be able to be added into the food without completely degrading the nutrients.
Right. Well, yeah, we're touching on a whole nother theme here. You know how she said safe just now? Next show, we're going to talk about, well, should I be cooking all my dog's food? And that safety aspect is going to come into it at that point. So I'm glad you brought that out, and we'll save that for the next show.
Another thing that contributes to cost of food is when you have premium pet food, there's no additives or fillers. You're not dealing with artificial colors, flavors, sugar, preservatives, which are certainly less expensive.
Wait, do you mean if my kibble is red or yellow, there's added colors? That's not the normal.
Yes, I'm sorry to tell you, Ron, but if you flip that bag over of that dog food that has those wonderful bright colors, chances are you're going to see yellow number 5 or number 2 or red dye number so-and-so.
Okay.
So we're talking artificial
So
coloring.
my dog does not care about the color. Does my dog care?
We're talking about premium nutrition that will add to the longevity of your dog. So even people have gotten away from using artificial coloring, artificial preservatives, because it's just in the long term doesn't seem, or has in some cases proven, in some cases not so, to be healthier to stay away from artificial preservatives, colors, flavorings.
Okay. I keep on tying it up. We keep on going here.
Another factor that contributes to premium pet food costing more would be care and preparation. So again, minimal processing of food. So not just the ingredients, but the entire food. Also, when a company owns their own manufacturing plants and they're not paying someone else to make the food, well, that adds to the cost. So you are getting better quality of the product oftentimes, better safety, but that comes at a cost. There's maintenance of those facilities. It's doing changes, making changes when the industry changes and you have to bring things up to code, or in our plants, when we want to go beyond the standards, then it costs money. So that factors into the cost of the food. And then there's also...
I have visited your facilities down in Tennessee, and I've been through, from my past, what I used to do as an engineer, thousands of different plants, and I was really impressed with the quality control that you guys use. I really was impressed with no dog food leaves your plant before it is fully tested. Mm-hmm. So we hear about recalls and all that kind of stuff. The reason why some of those recalls occur is the plant discovered after the food left the plant that there was a problem with it, and now they have to recall it.
Right.
In Nutro and now Mars situation, what they do is they get all the testing, back, they make sure and double check and triple check all the stuff to make sure everything is safe. Then they release it to prevent those recalls from happening.
So we actually have labs right on site at the manufacturing plant. And so we can test the ingredients before they go in the food. And we have always tested our finished product for salmonella and E. coli. And we've read, I think a year or two ago, where some children got salmonella by eating some pet food. So we've always tested our finished product for things like that, because we know kids may eat the kibble, we touch the kibble, and it's really important that this food is safe.
Have you visited the factory before too, or?
I have. I've been to the Greenie plants, and I have been to our dry plant in Lebanon.
Do you find it fascinating and fun and cool to be at a factory?
I do.
'Cause I'm wondering if it's a guy thing or not, because like,
Oh, no.
I just think it's so like, I went to the Coors brewery and they saw how beer
Well,
was
that was
made with
beer.
everything with the hot. Well, yeah, beer is beer, but like even as a kid, I remember I went to the Wonder Bread. Like,
Yeah, it is.
I don't. I just think
It's like
so
it's like
cool.
going through the
Mhm.
chocolate factory in Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
cool
I
because
don't know if it was just a guy thing or
things
not.
pouring out of this,
Well,
and there's
and
pipes
animated
going.
processes, and
Yeah.
it
And
is.
huge
It's really fascinating.
quantities, you know. But
Right.
it's good to hear the care is there, that they actually are just shipping it out, and then when there's a problem, it's like, oh, we got to get all that back now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
We hope it's okay.
yeah.
That doesn't happen with Mars.
And then, real quick, another thing that contributes to the cost is natural preservation of the food. So, when you don't use artificial preservatives and you use the natural preservative like vitamin E, of course, that's going to be more costly. And then, even your packaging, if you want packaging that's going to protect the freshness of the food, that's going to be an added cost. But one of the things that's really fortunate with Petland, Ron, is you can attest to, is that you have a frequent buyer program. So, that helps lower the cost for
Mhm.
people, because when they buy those 10 bags in 18 months, that 11th bag is free.
It's like getting 10% off every time.
Exactly. And then we
That's
also
great.
manufacture Max, which is a great affordable nutrition. And that is something that gives you all the benefits too of a premium pet food, but at a more reasonable price.
Right. Yeah. And I talk about Max a lot with our customers, because if your dog is not having any issues, and here 90% of the dogs out there are not, so they're not having stomach issues, they're not having skin issues, they're not having any allergies or any ailments, go to Max, Nutro Max, because that product is so well made, and it's high quality. When we talk about feed half as much, Max is included in that. In there, you're going to feed half as much of Max food and get all the benefits of a premium food of what it is.
And something else to be aware of is the cost per cup. So sometimes that can be misleading. We look at the total cost of the bag, but when we break it down to cost per cup,
I like that.
we can often see that it's the same or even less than that less expensive bag next to it. And I did that once. I flipped over a bag that was about $4 less expensive than our Max. But when I looked at their feeding guideline,
It was huge.
they're recommending more than the Max. So you actually were spending more in the long run and getting through that bag quicker
Mhm.
than you would if you were feeding that Max.
Yeah. Good point. I like the cup analogy. I always use pounds, but that doesn't paint the picture like a cup does.
Right.
Okay.
That's
cool.
Ron Salzrud. He's joining us here today, as he always does. But we also have Lisa Lambrakis, who's here to talk about the what her company does, which is now Mars. Can I just say Mars?
Mars Pet Care.
Mars Pet Care. Easiest.
Yeah.
And if you didn't catch the beginning of the show, a pretty decent-sized merger together. I guess is that what it was called, or
Nutro purchased the Procter & Gamble Pet Division.
Okay.
And then we all fall under Mars Company. So blended together, we are now Mars Pet Care in
Mars
the United
Pet Care.
States.
The only bummer with that merger is we never see M&Ms in our store. I thought for sure M&Ms would be a
maybe
major
M&Ms
staple.
for dogs.
Snickers.
Yeah.
Make something like that. So Lisa's been here, and we've been talking about nutrition a lot today. We also talked about the Great Dane, and there is a Great Dane here. He's just about asleep. Sidney's been hanging out with us today, and we talked about a Great Dane named Scooby that saved the day in Chicagoland, saved a girl from being attacked. So those are some of the highlights. We talked a lot about nutrition, but there's still so much more to talk about. So let's do a bit of a recap of what we talked about today, and then let's do a preview, and then we got to wrap things up for today. Okay, Ron?
So we talked about premium food. Why would we, why is that important to feed premium food? And we heard about longevity, quality of ingredients. We talked quality of life, all sorts of really good things. We also talked about why does it cost more, or really does it? When you feed half as much of a premium food as the economy brands, well, you're not saving any money there, and you're not getting any of the quality assurance or the quality of nutrition for your dog that includes all those supplements. So it really doesn't cost more. It's just the bag is more, but you're going to feed half as much of that premium dog food. So that's the fact on that. And that's now going forward. Next week, we're going to talk about where does the food come from, both sourced and where is it manufactured, and why is that important to you? And then a lot of people, hey, I want to make my own dog food and all that kind of stuff. And what is that, a good thing, a bad thing? Can I do a little? Can I do a lot? All that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about is making your own food or those table scraps and all those kind of things that we do for our dogs. Is that good or bad? And should I be watching that a little closer?
Well, I look forward to that show. We will have it for you on the air next Sunday. So if you caught this show in this time slot, just tune in again, same time next week. And if you didn't catch this show, if you're just tuning in and maybe you missed it, well, the podcast of this entire program is available right now at kxic.com, or you can wait and hear it for the second part of the program next week as we wrap up. Anything else you want to mention today, Lisa?
Well, I think that's about it.
Okay.
I don't want to give people too much, and I want
spoil next week's show.
I have some new exciting treats to talk about.
Ooh, treats
next week.
Is that a good idea? Sydney, want some treats? Huh? He's awake. Ruggy. All right, we're out of time, but it's been fun. So thanks, Ron. Thanks, Lisa. Both you guys. We'll talk to you next week. We'll have both you guys next week again, right?
Yes.
Cool. It's been the Pawsitively Petland Show. Hey, stop by today. It's at opens up at noon to 6 today, and you do the nail trims. Sunday is puppy class day too, right?
10:30 every 10:30 every Sunday at 10:30. Gotta get it out right.
So it's not
free class. Yeah, it's
before
privately
we open.
open.
Okay.
So we don't have everybody running around, and so you'll get some one-on-one time with our trainer, and all those questions. How do I get my dog from jumping up on me? How do I do the potty training? Oh, my dog is barking. How do I get that to stop? All those kind of things is what we cover in that free class. It doesn't matter whether you got your dog from us or not. That's open to the public.
Cool. And I mentioned the $5 nail trims, thousands of products, over 9,000 products, I think you say, something like that, right? And then,
9,000 different
of course, the pups. They're there for you to play with and maybe take one home. Lisa, thanks for your time. We'll talk to you next week, too, okay?
Thank you very much.
Yep, we'll be back with more after this. Bye, Sidney. Have a good day. Thanks for tuning in, listeners. Oh, and whacked his head on his way up. So, but...